You were not meant to be a slave to the grind. You were not meant to trade your life force for money. You can escape gravity. You can unlock your life. You got this. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Unlock Your Life. It's me, Jennings Smith, your host. Guys, shiny object syndrome. If you're anything like me, you chase different opportunities. There's a whole lot of ways in this world to make money, to build business, to buy businesses, to get real estate. Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's really, really difficult. I'm going to give you a couple examples of things that I personally have fallen into over the last, 3 or 4 years in chasing these shiny objects, trying to, usually make a quick buck. And I'll tell you how it's worked out. So, number one, I don't know if you remember this. They're actually still pitching these things, but Amazon and Walmart stores, about 3 years ago, a lot of people were talking about them. I had friends that were doing them successfully. I saw the data on it. I bought one. It worked. We were making revenue. We were making money every month. So I bought another one. I actually sold some of these, like connected people in my circle to the guy. And as time went on, I guess Amazon and Walmart got wise to this drop shipping and started making it harder and harder. And the opportunity didn't really work. Now, guys, I bought, I think, 3 Amazon stores and 3 Walmart stores. I plunked $150,000 into this, plus, put stuff on my credit card. Then Amazon wouldn't release the money. It turned into a giant fiasco. So that's what I'm talking about. Chasing a shiny object, in case you needed a specific example. My sister and I, we bought a wholesaling course. We were going to learn how to wholesale. And although that still is kind of in the real estate vertical, definitely a little bit out of our wheelhouse in what we do. And so we did that, and COVID came and housing prices shot way up. It got really difficult to wholesale. We didn't stick with it because it didn't pretty much immediately work. And so that fluttered out and faded, to the tune of about a $50,000 loss. I tried to launch my own crypto token. Crypto went crazy a couple years back. I was really into it. I was talking about it. I had crypto, and full disclosure, I still own some crypto, a good bit of crypto. But I'm thinking, I should launch a token around my education program, the Deal Room, and the My First Million, and it's going to be great. And I kind of got the brakes put on that just by the bull market being over, the bear market coming in, and realizing, what are you doing? You're not a software programmer. Like, you have 5% of the knowledge needed for crypto. You're not going to dedicate your life to this. Like, what are you doing? So I never did end up launching that, which I'm pretty grateful that I didn't. Another thing I got into was arbitrage trading. There was a bot that was trading foreign currencies, and you could make, 1% every couple days. And I did that for a while, but that petered out. And these are the kind of shiny objects that I'm talking about, and recognizing that I had fallen into quite a few of these over and over and over. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not learning my lesson? And it's hard, right? Because some of these opportunities are good. Sometimes you chase a shiny object and it works out. Sometimes you make money. Sometimes you're in a career or in a path and you do need to change, right? It's not something you're passionate about and you need to make a shift. And so people could say, you just chased a shiny object and that turned into a whole new career. So it is not something that I simply say, don't chase shiny objects, just do what you're doing. Because what you're doing, maybe you do need to adapt. Maybe you do need to adjust. And there have been plenty of things that I've shifted, like starting My First Million Facebook group and creating the Deal Room. That wasn't totally in my vertical of just closing multifamily deals and self-storage, but it fed into that and it worked out really, really well. I mean, that's another thing. Buying a couple mobile home parks, buying a few self-storage facilities. Those were diversification that worked out really, really well. And so how do you identify, wait a minute, I'm chasing a shiny object. I'm doing something that's probably not going to help me long-term. I'm taking my attention and focus, which is the crown jewel of whatever we have. Because whatever we put time and attention and focus into, it will grow if it's a good opportunity. But is that the best vertical to be growing in? Should we be a mile wide and an inch deep, or should we be an inch wide and a mile deep? So how do you do this? So what I did was I was talking to one of my buddies, good close friend. He's done a lot of deals with me and a bit of a trusted advisor in my life. And he said, Jennings, you need to write out principles. What are the principles of your life? What are the principles that you live by? And then when you're approached with a new opportunity, a new deal, a new whatever, run it through that grid and don't forget to run it through that grid. And I thought that was really good advice. And so about a year, maybe a little longer ago, I wrote down the principles. And guys, it started somewhat vague. And I would encourage you to, don't pigeonhole yourself so hard that you can't do anything, but have a couple non-negotiables. So if you're sitting down and thinking about this, which I would definitely encourage you to take, a morning, take like an hour or two in the morning and really think about it and document and just start with 3 or 4 things that these are non-negotiables. This is definitely going to be the right path. And I know that for now. And then as you think about it more deeply and as you work it over in your mind, maybe you can get a little bit more specific. So I'm actually going to share with you, I'm going to open the book and share with you some of the principles that I use, that I wrote down, that I live by, why I picked those principles. And maybe some of them will resonate with you, maybe some of them won't. But it'll show you kind of the lens that I'm looking at opportunity through to protect myself from myself, right? Because we all chase these shiny objects and can get off track really easily. So, number 1, set of principles that I'm going to consult and allow to guide me as I make decisions and evaluate opportunities. That's my title. So number 1, God is in charge, not me. Right? My life is dedicated to Christ. Every action must fulfill his purpose for me. So is this for my glory or is this for God's glory? Is this working towards or against the purpose of my life? And does this point others to Christ? Right? Is this going to be a blessing for them or is this just a money grab? Number 2, I will not go into consumer debt. This includes all boats, cars, or any other depreciating asset. I will pay my credit card off in full every month if I even use it. Guys, if you followed me, you know that at one point I had a Ferrari. At one point I had a Lamborghini. These were, somewhat investments. I say that in air quotes, investments, because, if you buy the right model, a couple years old, some of these cars do hold their value or appreciate. But at the end of the day, they're not an investment. They really aren't, because you've got taxes, you got insurance. If you clutch goes out or you crash them, you're definitely going to be in the hole. And if you have debt on it, you have a mortgage payment and you have interest, which is taking money out of your pocket. And so looking at this stuff of like, wow, if I can't afford to pay cash for that fun thing, that car, that boat, that whatever, I'm not going to do that. Another thing I did was I bought a 44-foot yacht. I went in with 3 other guys. We bought this yacht. And it was expensive, right? I mean, I definitely could not have paid cash for it at the time. Didn't want to tie up that cash, but I looked at, I could just put this much down and we could get this loan on it and we could Airbnb it out and we could rent it out and it's going to work great. And initially it did, but then it didn't, right? We had some issues, we had some repairs. Eventually, we had both engines catastrophically fail. So the worst case scenario that could have happened with that boat happened. And so now not only are we having to replace the engines to the tune of $200,000. We're also out of commission, right? We can't charter the boat. We can't rent it out on Airbnb. It's in the shipyard. We got to order these engines over from Italy. It was a fiasco, right? So now the boat's put back together and it's on the market. So if you're looking for a yacht, hit me up. I'll sell it to you at a great price, brand new engines. But this kind of protected me of like, hey, I'm not going to chase a shiny object of, let me go out and get a Lamborghini. Let me go out and get a yacht. Unless I'm to the point where it's like, I've got so much cash that I can buy that outright and it's okay. And guys, when I bought a new car about 3 weeks ago. My old car was a 2016. It was starting to make some engine noise. I wanted to get rid of it before it really, really broke. And so I'm looking out there and I don't want to get a nice car, right? I do, I have money and I have assets and I want to get a nice car. But when I'm looking at, you got to pay cash, right? That kind of toned me down. So could I afford a, $150,000 Mercedes G-Wagon? Sure. But do I really want to plunk out $150,000 or whatever to buy this car cash? No, not really, because I can deploy that cash into an apartment deal. I can do a hard money loan with that. I can put it in an investment. I can keep it in my bank account for a rainy day, right? So it really made me think. And as I went out, I bought myself a nice car, reasonable car that I could pay cash for. And, my other car was paid off, so I got some money from that. And it really protected me from overextending because I went into this principle. I was like, you know what, Jennings? You're not financing this. So whatever you buy, you got to pay cash for. So keep that in mind when you're picking out the next thing. Okay, principle number 3, I will not go into real estate or business debt, quote unquote good debt, without clear guidance and permission from God. I'm praying about this stuff. I acknowledge that even the safest debt, the good debt, can be dangerous, right? We're seeing that across the board over the last couple of years of people getting loans called, people not being able to hit their refinances on time. And that bank, even though it was a good debt, and maybe even the property's still cash flowing, if that loan's due or they want to change the terms on you, they can call that note. And now you got to come up with $2 million, $3 million, $4 million. And so while I'm not against going into debt on things that are appreciating assets, I'm still going to be careful. I'm not going to say, well, look, all debt is good debt as long as it's an appreciating asset. I have to have clear guidance. Is this deal for me? And I got to tread carefully on that. Okay? Number 4, I'm going to keep that one private. It's just between me and my family. Number 5, I'm going to seek wisdom with further partnerships, right? All partnerships carry inherent risk, stress, and there's complexity to that. You're bringing in new people, right? Are they going to do something immoral? Are they going to do something illegal? Are they going to do something fraudulent? Are they going to get divorced? Are they going to go bankrupt? Are they going to have other pressures and stresses from other things that have nothing to do with you, but they're going to bring that into your life because now you're a partner with them? I'm all about partnerships. I have a ton of partners, but I've got to seek counsel and direction on those partnerships. I've got to dig deep on those people. I've got to make sure that they're people that I want to do business with and that I'm protected in the operating agreements, because recognizing that all partnerships are going to bring more risk, stress, and complexity into my life. So treading that carefully. Number 6, this one's huge. Is this going to bring peace or chaos to my life? Protection of my peace is really important to me. It's important to my relationship with my family. If I'm not at peace, it's really hard to be a good dad. It's really hard to be a good husband. I'm not going to bring chaos into my life. And what does chaos look like? Well, it could be going into a field that I don't know anything about. It could be taking on way more than I can handle. It may not be like focusing on what's already on my plate before piling more onto my plate. This is what I'm talking about with chaos. And you guys, you can't scale chaos. If your core business and what you're doing right now is not running smoothly, you need to focus on that. You need to get that right. You need to get that straight before you pile more on your plate, because opportunity is always going to bring some chaos. And so am I ready for that? Am I prepared to handle that? And is it a level of chaos that is still safe and healthy for my family, for me, for my mental health? Number 7, I will invest in things I know. Why is this so hard for us to understand? Warren Buffett said it. Invest in things you know. What do I know? I know real estate. So I'm going to focus on real estate. Guys, I've got some single family homes. I've got mobile home parks. I've got self-storage. I've got apartment complexes. Like, these are all real estate. I've got the deal room, which is solely focused on real estate. All those things are working, and I have a deep knowledge of that. And I'm able to identify when opportunities are not really opportunities. They just look good on paper, but I can dig deep and know, hey, this is not going to be a fit for me. This is not something that I want to pursue because I know it. Going back to like the Amazon stores, dude, I don't know how Amazon runs. I don't know all the restrictions that they have. I don't know that they can change one policy and decimate everything that we've built. Why would I get into that if I don't know these things deeply and intricately? So that is majorly important. Focusing on what you know and becoming more and more of an expert in that field. I'm not going to chase the allure of quick or easily gained wealth. Those descriptions are going to serve as a reminder, as a red flag, as a warning to avoid that. So we've all heard it. When it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. When it's so easy, anybody can do it, probably is just a money grab, right? I'm not going to chase the allure of get rich quick or get something with little to no effort, right? That's not my game. And when I see that, when I've chased those type of things, they've never worked out. And so I'm going to put that in my principle. Wait, is this an allure of quick or easily gained wealth? That's probably a red flag. Number 9, I will not chase the wind. This is about contentment. This is a verse from, I think, Ecclesiastes, but I'm going to be content in the moment that I'm in now. I'm going to acknowledge that more is not the answer, and it's not going to bring me happiness. I'm going to pursue God's purpose for my life and not chase the wind. It's really hard to keep this one in check. You may think, well, Jennings, you've got this portfolio and this stuff going on. Like, why would you be discontent? I thought the same thing. But I'll tell you, every stage I've moved, there's always more. There's always another level. There's always bigger. There's people making more. You could always do more. You could always make more. And you can live in that future. Oh, well, look where I'm going to be in 5 years. That's important. It's great to motivate yourself and have a vision. But being content in the moment now and recognizing that more is not the answer. It will not bring contentment. It will not bring happiness. It's a skill that we have to build today. And number 10, I will not waste God's money. I believe money is a resource entrusted to us by God. And as we grow in income or net worth or whatever, it's very tempting to level up your lifestyle. I'm guilty of it, definitely done it. But what that does is twofold. One, it creates a monster that has to be fed, right? Taking on this yacht, Lamborghinis, crazy expensive vacations, on and on and on. It creates a monthly recurring expense that you have to satisfy. And if you don't, you're going to be in real big trouble. And so you're putting more chaos into your life. You're putting more stress. You're putting more pressure because you've built this unsustainable model. And no matter what level you get to, you can always level up, right? There's bigger boats. There's islands. There's more vacations. There's more whatever. So my principle here is I'm going to live frugally and keep our spending under control. We're going to abide by a budget. One, because it's going to make me happier. And two, because I know this is God's money entrusted to me. Do I have permission to do this? Do I have permission from him to spend this on that or level up my lifestyle in this way? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this, oh, wow, I made 200 grand, so I can spend 200 grand. Oh, I made 500 grand, so I can spend 500 grand. I made $1 million, I'm going to spend $1 million. You think, oh, I would never do that. When I'm making $1 million, I'll just still be spending 100 and I'll be saving 900. I'll be investing 900. Okay, but lifestyle creep is a real thing and it's something to be kept into check. So that's the rundown of my 10 principles that I live by. I review them every Monday. So every Monday, I kind of go over my goal sheet. And one of the links on that is review your principles. Review my principles. And I had an opportunity this week. I had an opportunity. It was a great opportunity. It was a great idea. It was something that I could jump into, make some quick cash, and running it through there. It's like, is this going to bring chaos into my life? Is this investing in something that I really, really know? Am I chasing quick or easily gained wealth? Check, check, check. Okay. The answer to that is a simple no. It's a hard pass. I know right now because I ran that through my grid of principles that I will live by. So it may seem redundant. Maybe it seems like too much, but guys, this has saved me a lot of heartache over the last year or so as I've implemented it. So if you don't have written principles that you live by, a grid that you're going to filter these decisions through, you're probably going to make a mistake. It's easy to get emotional. It's easy to get wrapped up in something, make an impulse decision, make an impulse buy, and then go on to the regret. So I'm just trying to show you this is where I went over the last 3 or 4 years, made a lot of good decisions, made a few bad. How can I insulate myself and make better decisions in the future? So if this meant something to you, if this was helpful to you, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM. I want to hear about your principles and what you're thinking about. Take some time to do this week because it will help you unlock your life. Peace.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.